Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Laguna Woods Democratic Club on Village Television. I'm Sue Deering, and I'm the Vice President of the Laguna Woods Democratic Club. We are very happy today to be here with you. We have Ada Briceño with us, who's the chair of the Democratic Party of Orange County, as well as AJ Mohan, who is the political director of the Democratic Party of Orange County, and Shari Horn, who is the mayor pro tem of the Laguna Woods City Council. And we will also have some videos from Katie Porter, Dave Min, and Cotty Petrie Norris that will be included in this program. We are going to start first with Ada Briceño. She will speak, and then we will have some questions from people who are on the Zoom program with us. Then AJ will speak. The questions will be together for Ada and for AJ, and then Shari Horn will speak. And I'd like to thank Pat Leftwich for organizing this Zoom, and I'd also like to thank Alan Feldman and Rebecca Gillard for helping with the timing and the questions too. Okay, we're going to get started. First, I'll introduce Ada. Ada came here as a child from Nicaragua, worked her way up through the hotel business and became the current president of Unite Here, a local union for hotel workers. And then she decided to set her sights on the Democratic Party of Orange County, and she was elected chair 2 years ago, and she is going to run again, I believe, and has presided over many new wins for Democrats in Orange County, and seeing Orange County turn blue as far as voter registration. And we are very pleased to have her with us here today, and we thank her for all her hard work. Welcome, Ada.
Thank you, Sue. I just want to say how happy I am to see all your faces and to be here with you. I agree with Mary Carter when she says Zoom is so important to me and to so many of us to keep connected. It's great to be here. I want to congratulate Shari Horn. I think she's going to be the mayor next year, right? Coming up in January. Very excited and thankful for the work that she's doing in Laguna Woods. And, you know, I just want to say that first and foremost, I want to thank the Democratic Club of Laguna Woods for everything you've done in Orange County. It is truly, truly unbelievable that when we put our heads together and work so hard as a collective, that we can make things happen. So I want to thank you for donating more than $20,000 to candidates and distributing door hangers and postcards. I want to thank you for standing up for racial justice and bringing us together and donating to all the great causes that you donate and you choose to uplift. Thank you, Sue, not only for uplifting this club and being such a tremendous leader, but also for the Council of Clubs at the Democratic Party. It's the foundation of being a Democrat, to be part of clubs, and you've done such an incredible job that there's no words. We owe you so much, and we can't repay you. I just want to tell you, we just can't repay you. I want to also recognize Rebecca Gillen and also Sue and Richard Snyder and Janice Burstein and Heidi Kruger and Jonathan Adler and so many more of you for all the work that you're doing. You know, and of course, we are so proud of Lyndon Nearing for all her service to the Democrats across Orange County. It's just been an incredible, you know, to work alongside her, but also to be able to honor her with the award of the Truman Lifetime Achievement that we were able to give to her maybe a month and a half back. It's the highest recognition of our Democratic Party, and we were so lucky to be able to give that to her. You know, now that the big election is behind us, we want to talk a little bit about the results with you and share what we've learned so far. So I'm going to do a little recap. right? And maybe hear your thoughts as well within your questions towards the end there. But, you know, as far as our nation and our president, at the top of the ticket, Orange County Democrats did very well, right? Joe Biden won Orange County by 9 points. Folks, 9 points. In Orange County, Joe Biden continued the work that Hillary Clinton did. He pushed and got us to make sure that we were even further left, nearly doubling the gains that we made in 2016 at the top of the ticket. He won in areas that we didn't believe would be winnable. He made sure at the top of the ticket, we won Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel, Lake Forest, Mission Viejo went for Biden in 2020. Mission Viejo actually swung 8 points from 2016 to 2020. That's incredible. Our voter registration lead is strong, 5 points over the past 4 years. That's also a huge accomplishment. We now have more than 40,000 registered Democrats than Republicans. I keep saying it because we got to remember every step of the way that it's our collective responsibility to keep registering. And in the state, we flipped 2 Senate seats. 2 Senate seats. Now Democrats hold 4 out of the 5 Senate seats here in Orange County. So we also were very successful in holding on to one of the most competitive state assembly seats with Cotty Petrie Norris. They are hungry for it and we won't give it back. We're going to fight to keep that. And I just want to say that we remember that not too long ago, it was so tough to run people in the assembly. We were losing those seats by 20 points, but those days are gone. Those seats are much more competitive. So from now on, we're gonna make sure that we fight to take that back. I wanna say that we are going to be a battleground again in 2022 in the state. So I just wanna make sure that you look out for that, because we're gonna come back and we're gonna take assembly seats and we're gonna hold on to our Senate seats as well. Locally, this is where I'm especially excited about the 2020 election. You know, our bench is getting stronger because you all are doing an incredible job. I want to thank you for all your support to our candidates and all the voter outreach you did. Countywide, we flipped 20 seats from red to blue. That's 40% of our endorsed candidates that we flipped. 40%. Now, across Orange County, in every city council, school board, or water board, or special district that we ran a Democrat for, we either held on to the number of seats we had, or we increased our seats at the table. So, and for the first time, after, we now hold more seats as Democrats in school boards across Orange County. So there are more Democrats who are school board members than either Republicans or declined to stay. This is huge. We're turning the corner. Our transformation is continuing. So, but we all know that if we don't run, we don't win. So altogether, we had a record 221 Democrats who filed to put their name on the ballot. And out of those 221, we endorsed 96 of those candidates. I want to tell you something. We now have 8 Democratic mayors in Orange County. Who would have thought? Mayor Khan in Irvine, Mayor Ackley in Aliso Viejo, Mayor Trout in Buena Park, Mayor Carr in Huntington Beach, Mayor Clark in Tustin, Mayor Sarmiento in Santana, Mayor Foley in Costa Mesa, and Mayor Whalen in Laguna Beach. That's pretty cool, isn't it? It's quite an amazing accomplishment when we had 1 or maybe 2, I think just 1 or 2, and we're up to 8. And so we're very, very excited. But also another exciting thing is that we expanded our diverse representation. We should be proud that we're breaking barriers. Kamala Harris is the first woman, first Black American, and first South Asian American to hold her office. Many of our candidates locally also broke barriers. Dave Min is Orange County's first Democratic Korean American to represent us in Sacramento. I mentioned Farah Khan, but she's the first woman of color to lead Irvine in its history and the first Muslim woman to lead in a big city in the United States. I also mentioned Mayor Sarmiento, who will be the first Bolivian American to lead a major city in the US. Thai Viet Phan, our first Vietnamese American to serve on the Santana City Council. And, you know, we're especially proud of the Orange County's Black community, which turned out in high numbers and also ran. We had a large number of Blacks who ran. And so I'm very proud to say that we went from having 2 Black electeds to now having 5. So very excited. I mentioned Mayor Clark in Tustin. And we also have Richard Hurt, the first Black person to serve on Aliso Viejo City Council, David Crockett on the Rancho Santiago Community College, Dr. Vicky Calhoun in the Fullerton Joint Union High School District. Look, we have got, they're mirroring what our community needs to see for our youth to make sure they're empowered to run. Yes, we also have areas that we have to look at and improve. And so Congress, when we're looking at Congress, we want to recap our congressional races. And yes, we did lose 2 of our seats this cycle, which was disappointing. But I want to talk about a silver lining. And that's that Orange County Democrats hold 5 out of the 7 congressional seats. We're still a strong majority. We fell short, but the fact that we fell short in very small margins matters. So we fell short in the 39th by 1.4 points and in the 48th, right, by 2.2 points. This is a small and doable margin for us to focus in 2022. So not only will we be a battleground for the state, we will also be a battleground for the nation. Eyes are going to continue on Orange County to see how we're preparing. And Sue, I don't know if I have a couple more minutes or not, but I want to just mention that with my union hat, I feel really proud to announce that my union had about 300 plus workers, room attendants and dishwashers who went to knock on doors starting in June, knocked on over almost 800,000 doors to turn Arizona blue. And I feel really proud of that work. And you should know that from Southern California, we have almost 120 same cooks and dishwashers who are in Georgia knocking on doors as we speak. So pray for them, have them in your thoughts. We need a victory there. Speaking of Georgia, help out how you can. If you go on the website at the party, you'll be able to sign up for shifts to help us out. Look, it's a pleasure to be here. I love to come see you. Please have me back on, when you can. I'm very excited to continue to serve, with you, alongside with you for the next 2 years or the next 4 years. I'm on the Central Committee for the next 4 years, and hopefully I will be re-elected as your chair, and I'd love to continue to work with you. I want to thank you for all you do, and I'm so excited that you'll get to hear from AJ Mohan, who's an incredible leader in our Democratic Party.
Ada, thank you so much. We are certainly encouraged about the future of the Democratic Party in Orange County. And next, I would like to introduce AJ Mohan, who is the political director of the Democratic Party of Orange County. And he just takes care of campaigns and endorsements and political information and absolutely everything, and he works night and day. AJ, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Sue. I really appreciate it. And can I just start by saying it is clubs like the Laguna Woods Democratic Clubs that keep the fire under my belly every day. So keep up the work you're doing. It reminds me why we're out here every day, and it's just because of the volunteers like you. And frankly, I was one for a very long time, and I was lucky enough to join the Democratic Party in this position, and I look forward to serving all of you. And I think Ada said it best, right? Democrats are here to stay in Orange County. We're expanding our representation in Orange County. And even with the losses we had, we have overperformed, I think, everyone's expectations, right? When we look at Katie Porter or Mike Levin, our new congressional incumbents from 2018, they won their races by 5, 6, almost 7 points, right? And when Harley only loses by 1.2 points, we know that they're overperforming the national climate, and we know that that means that Orange County is moving in a more blue direction, because people see that at every level of government, Democrats are serving the interests of the people. Right. So part of the reason I think that this cycle was particularly tough was because Democrats weren't able to get out to the doors, and we were encouraged not to go to the doors. Right. When we can have those one-on-one conversations with people, we can go beyond the Republican slogans of like, hey, like Republicans are pro-business. Right. They apparently all Democrats want to defund the police. This is not true. Right. But when we're able to go to the doors and when we're able to have these one-on-one conversations with folks, we can combat that misinformation. That's where we can talk about the fact where we have a Congress that can't pass a reasonable COVID stimulus or find ways to keep Social Security funded or solvent, or that congressional Republicans are trying to cut Medicaid every day. These are serious issues, not only for the community of Laguna Woods, but Orange County as a whole. And I think people are starting to recognize that. When we talk about the Democratic Party of Orange County, right, our mandate is for county and local races. And unfortunately, it seems that, I think through no fault of anyone's, but rather the national climate, these, quote, nonpartisan races have become incredibly partisan everywhere we look. And the pandemic has made that all the more clear to us, right? When we have county supervisors for the last 6 years who have been sitting on millions of dollars in grants for homelessness funding that can only be spent for homelessness funding, that they will refuse to spend. Right? This is a tragedy for us, right? When they refuse to fund, in fact, in the last 2 weeks, the county has started a program where they're funding public COVID tests. LA County has had that program going for 5 or 6 months. And we see the real impacts in our communities because now it takes a while for those tests to come for us to get the test, for us to send it back, for us to find out if we're COVID positive, right? These are real issues that, unfortunately, the partisanship has penetrated at a local level. This even happens on our city councils, where cities, unfortunately, some cities are refusing to enforce mask mandates or take reasonable, easy measures to keep our public safe. And that's why we're proud to have expanded from 3 Democratic mayors in 2018 to 8 Democratic mayors this year. I'm very excited about that shift. Ada mentioned it before. I think in large part due to our work, we have gained seats on every local board. And this is important because these local boards, as I just mentioned before, impact every part of our lives, right? We want a government that functions, that people can actually believe in, and who are enacting programs that people can actually use and make their lives more fulfilling. When it comes to racial justice, Orange County GOP endorsed 1 African-American, and that person did not get elected, while we endorsed 7, 4 of them who were elected, right? So even on the on that scale, the Democrats are outperforming Republicans. Out of our 96 endorsed candidates, 53 of them are now into elected office, which I'm very proud about. Of course, Ada talked about this. We have new Democratic majorities in Irvine and Aliso Viejo. We gained seats on a whole bunch of school boards, and now we have new majorities on the Irvine Unified, Westminster Elementary. Orange Unified is now a functional majority for Democrats. And these are huge victories. We elected our first Democrat to the South Orange County Community College District, which I don't know if any of you know, has over 550,000 voters. It is bigger than a congressional district. So that was a really tough victory for us, and I'm glad we made it through. Look, I'll talk briefly about how the Democratic Party does this, which is part of my role at the Democratic Party. So this cycle alone, we ran 47 separate paid communications programs to inform people about who the Democrats are, how Democrats affect their lives at a local level. And we engaged in programs like strategic vote splitting among Republicans. We recruit and uplift Democrats. We create new clubs, we work on redistricting, we are working on placing Democrats in commissions so that we can build the Democratic bench. And frankly, we will be fundraising. So if we come to you and ask you for money to continue our work, just know that it's to fund all these programs and to get more Democrats elected into office. We also work with our partners, right? The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, also known as the DPOC, has a vested interest in Orange County. We have very competitive congressional districts, as anyone can see, and we work with those folks and the California Democratic Party, who place 2 offices and regional organizers here in Orange County, to make sure that we can use our resources to get Democrats up and down the ballot elected. And that's part of the reason I think this cycle we were so successful. For the first time this year, the Democratic Party of Orange County went on radio, which I'm very excited about, in 3 separate segments. We did digital ads, I think, for one of the first cycles in our history. And I think we're just going to be expanding our reach and targeting voters in a strategic fashion from here on out. And I'm very excited to be working with Ada. And I have to give a huge shout out to my colleagues at the Democratic Party, Rachel Patusek, our communications director, Lindsay Lefebvre, our regional organizer, and Denise Santa Maria, our administrative assistant. And I think our team is keeping the cogs running and making sure that Democrats are more represented and that people are better served by their government everywhere in Orange County. And with that, I'm looking forward to taking everyone's questions.
Okay, AJ, thank you so much. And thanks for the shout out to Lindsay, Rachel, and Denise, because it really is important to mention how hardworking all 3 of them are. And I don't know if you remember, AJ, but I think we first met at a voter registration event in Irvine Valley College quite a few years ago. And you have come a very long way since then. Okay, the first question that we have is, does the DPOC have a program to train, encourage, and help down ballot office holders seek higher office? And why don't we give that question to Ada?
Thank you, Sue. Yes, so we do. With the help of AJ, we've been able to grow our capacity, and the rest of the staff, frankly, grow our capacity. We have monthly meetings with candidates to help them make sure that they understand what are the next steps to move forward. So we want to give them encouragement. We want to give them the support. We want to team them up with current elected officials who can mentor them. And we want to open up any doors for them to seek more training, even outside of our Democratic community. We want them well versed. We want to grow our bench. And so we're always looking at opportunities to push them forward to the next level.
Thank you, Ada. The next question, I think, will be for AJ. Political pros say the secret to getting out the vote at election time is to stay in touch with voters continuously for the years prior. What is the DPOC's organized program for doing so?
Well, that's why I'm so excited that Lindsay Lefebvre, our regional organizer, is staying on with us, and we were able to expand our budget to do a lot of off-year operations. So part of this is clubs like yours, like Laguna Woods Democratic Club, reaching out in the community, adding more members, making sure anyone that they reach out to gets welcomed into the Democratic tent, as they should be, because the Democratic tent is big, and frankly, I think we're all very reasonable people. The part of that is of course those existing Democratic clubs. We're also creating new Democratic clubs. I'm very proud to announce that in the next couple months, that for the first time, there will be a Black Orange County Democratic Club to invite and to encourage Black leaders in this county to move forward. We're working on a Vietnamese American Democratic Club because we did see a huge shift from 2016 to 2020 in Vietnamese voters swinging right, unfortunately. And that just means we have a lot more work to do in outreach there. And making sure that, of course, our clubs are equipped with the resources and the tools they need to succeed. So part of this is making sure that the Democratic Party of Orange County makes available proper data systems, proper voter outreach systems, right? We're going to be unveiling a phone banking program in January for all our clubs. And that's how we keep our grassroots engaged, is making sure that every person who has a slight affiliation with the Democratic Party, who has an opportunity to get involved with us at some point.
Thank you so much, AJ. We look forward to working with the DPOC on that phone banking program. Certainly, we participated earlier with Turn Up Laguna Woods, and we found that it increased our membership and got us more volunteers and people who wanted to be on our email list. We have one question about the plan for supervisor, for Board of Supervisors seat 2, when that election is going to be, who the potential candidate might be, and how we can help get that person elected, and the difficulty of that. And perhaps Ada can answer that, and maybe AJ can chime in with some additional information. Thank you.
So thank you. I ran out of time, but that was part of what I wanted to speak to you about. So thank you for that prompt. I think we are well on our way. We have some factors that are hard. We have a short timeline of this for this election. AJ projects that we will see this election, anywhere from February 28th to the first week of March. So the date has not been set, but it's a quick timeline. We see 4 Republicans who are throwing in their name. We hope that they continue to stay on. We have been very diligent. AJ, myself, and many others have been very much speaking to Democrats, saying we need to speak with one voice with this one. We need one candidate, and we have been successful so far. Yesterday, we did our endorsement meeting, and we have one Democrat who applied for the endorsement. And I'm very proud that this is a very capable Democrat, Mayor Katrina Foley. She is incredible. I think she has done a really great job for Orange County. And really, she's taken leadership, not only in her council, to make sure that that she now has a super majority, for God's sake, in her in a place that was it was a bad place for Democrats before, and I believe that her leadership has helped turn that around. So we have a quick, we have to divide and conquer there. Keep the Republicans in, have one Democrat, make sure we speak with one voice in every single part of the county. We have to all act as if if that seat belonged to our district. We more than ever need someone like Katrina Foley to speak in this COVID time, in this difficult COVID time, with a rational mind to keep us safe. And she would be that voice there. So we need every single city, all 34 cities, to fight and make sure that we win. We're going to be in some areas, not in all. We're going to be knocking on doors. We're going to be doing postcards. We're going to be doing phone bank. We're going to be doing everything possible. Everything that we did in November 2020, we now have to grab most of that and put it into her race. It's got a 6-point Democratic lead. I'm sorry, Republican lead. I wish Democratic lead, but it's got a Republican voter registration lead, and it's 6 points out. Is it 6 points, AJ, or is it 5?
I believe it's 5.
It's 5 points. Okay. And we need to act like if it was 6 points, right? Because we need to be fighting hard to make sure that we win that. So we're going to ask that you grab your efforts and put everything you can, that you're donating as much time as possible to influencing our Democrats to vote and for us to take that. So I hope that answered your question.
And Sue, if you don't mind, I'll also make a quick pitch. So we're going to be engaging clubs from throughout the county. Even though this is a Board of Supervisors race, particularly in one part of the county, it's very important that everyone gets involved, because these county supervisors, frankly, we need a strong Democratic voice on that Board of Supervisors, which we haven't had in quite a while. And this is the opportunity for us to get that. So this Saturday at 10 a.m., we're doing a Flip to Blue. We're calling the campaign Flip to Blue. That was coined by Rachel, our comms director. And we're doing a leaders call for that this Saturday at 10 a.m. If anyone wants to join, I'm putting a link in the chat where you can join. And we would love to see you there. We're going to be starting preparation for our canvassing operation. We will be knocking doors in a safe manner and have everyone's sign that they're going to be safe. And we're looking forward to it. So I'll put the link in the chat.
Thank you, Ada and AJ. We have a question here that wonders if there is a plan to discuss with elected officials to respond to requests that their constituents make, because there's a concern that sometimes they do not respond. And the vote and financial help, you know, from people who make requests of their elected officials will dry up if they do not respond.
So Sue, I'll say this. I hope it's an isolated incident, but I want to assure you that, you know, that we're working with our elected officials. There are new people whose first time was to run and then won for as an example. And we're also training and working with our elected officials. We now have a more direct connection to each one of them, and we can nudge them and we can help them make sure that we put in a phone call if needed, so people can respond. So please feel free to talk to Sue, and Sue will get the information to us so we can help get our elected officials to respond if for some reason they have a problem. But we do have a direct communication. We talk to them all the time, but we also are meeting with them as a group once a month. So again, use this as a resource. Let's see if we can be helpful.
Thank you, Ada. And people certainly can contact us because we are also in contact with most of the elected officials, at least in our area. Another question for both AJ and Ada: what are you doing to target Latino voters?
So AJ and I had a really great time in crafting a plan for Latino voters. I got to say that, you know, I've been working for 30 years. You know, my career has taken me to work with the Latino community in general. And so I was very baffled at when we went into the most consequential election of our lifetime. And I was like, wait a minute, they took precinct walking away from me. And what else do we have, right? So that is the best method to engage with voters. And we will go that route in future election cycles. This is, you know, so that will be back on the table, and that helps. But we had a good time in figuring out what we would do. And what we did is texted them. We crafted specific messages for the Latino community, but you also heard that we did 3 different segments. It was, we had radio advertising that aired like 97 times or something in the last 4 days of the election. So we also, you know, in the primaries, we did ballot parties inside the hotels when we were able to go into the hotels and speaking to the workers. So there are many things, but I want to tell you something. There's a big myth, and I think it's because it's been sexy for the press to say that some Latino voters voted for Trump. Well, many people voted for Trump. In fact, is it 73 million people? I think it was, of all kinds, right? But you should feel really good that there was a big increase in voters, in Latino voters. In fact, it was 63%, the equivalent of 8 million new voters. That's not existing, you know, that's not 8 million total. That's in addition. In fact, the white vote increased by 5%. The Latino vote increased by 63%, folks. And yes, some of them were Trump, but by far, right? As in previous election cycles, they went Democratic. So there were some outliers, right? But they're, you know, Latinos made a significant contribution in this election cycle, and it makes me really proud, despite what the press has been saying or what they found sexy. We know the numbers, and it's our job to tell the story.
Thank you, Ada. AJ, did you want to add anything to that?
Sure, I'll just say that it's our responsibility at the party, and I think for all our candidates, and we've communicated this with our candidates, to reach voters where they're at. So when it comes to certain communities, right, at the beginning of get out the vote season, when people were sending in their ballots, by the way, Laguna Woods did amazing. I think you all were like the top 5 city in the state, right, for getting ballots in. So excellent job there. But when it comes to looking at different communities and seeing where they're how they interpret information, it's important to go with what your consultants recommend, with what people on the ground are saying, and merge that all together. So part of the reason we went up on radio, part of the reason we did a digital ad targeting Latino voters in Spanish, part of the reason we did almost all of our about $25,000 of general communications in bilingual forms is to make sure that we can engage those voters. So that's our recommendation to folks, and we'll do the same for any segment of voters, whether it be the different segments of AAPI voters, African-American voters, women, anyone who can be receptive to the Democratic Party message.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question. There are 2 questions. One is very short, and that is, does Katrina Foley have to give up her mayoral seat now in order to run? And the other question is, how are you working with the labor community in Orange County? And I'm sure Ada has a good answer for that one.
So Katrina does not have to give up her seat unless she wins, right? Then we need her to give it up so she can serve and help us all, right? As far as the labor community, again, I've been, I'm married to labor. I really feel that working class has a big part and should have a big say in the party. So we engage with workers all the time. We are right now in talks, for example, with UFCW about, our poor, I don't even know how they do it. Our grocery workers who go in every single day and face COVID right in front of them. We've got to get some merit pay for that. Make sure that we get some hazard pay for that. So how are we working in the county to ensure that, people that are taking such high risks, firefighters take high risk, they're compensated for that high risk. Well, what about grocery workers? Right now, I can't think of, other than doctors and nurses, they are taking high risks and they should be compensated for. So hopefully you'll join us in working and making sure that we're able to get some hazard pay in a significant way for these workers who are clearly, getting infected and taking that home with them. So, but in addition to that, we are working on making sure that they help fund our programs. So we've been working with UFCW, with my union, Unite Here, with the nurses union, and we're moving and expanding beyond those 3 to see if this year we can double and get 6 unions to help us fund the programs that we're doing. But last week, AJ was in my union along with other volunteers registering voters, because guess what? They put no party preference because they didn't know. And AJ was fortunate enough to turn a whole bunch of those NPPs into Democrats. So he saw a whole bunch of hotel workers and we started there, but we've got to go to every single union and make sure that we're able to turn those workers where they belong, which is the Democratic Party.
AJ and Ada, thank you so much for the good work that you're doing. And I couldn't agree more about the grocery workers. I think they should be some of the first people to receive the vaccine. Okay, they're putting their lives on the line every single day. Thank you for the good work that you're doing. Thank you for being here with us today. Next in the program, I'm happy to introduce Shari Horn, who is the Mayor Pro Tem of Laguna Woods. She will start her term as mayor starting in January. And Shari is also on the California Senior Legislature, where she is chair of the Committee on Health Policy. So I know that health and the environment are 2 of the most important issues that Shari has on her list. Welcome, Shari.
Thank you. Thank you so much for including me in this amazing program. And I am just so impressed with Anna and AJ. They are doing the really hard work. I get to do the easy work of just responding to residents. That's always been my very favorite thing. Even last time I was mayor, I had Mondays with the mayor to hear the concerns of the community, because what do we do at a local level except respond to our residents for good or bad? And I'm excited to be here today to talk about Measure V. It's the first thing that I can ever remember putting on a ballot. Cannabis has had a long history in our community. Most of you know I'm an advocate. I'm going to say that right now, so there be no doubt. But ever since 2008, we've been talking about, there has never been a larger turnout for any issue at City Council repeatedly than the issues of cannabis. In 2008, we were able to get it legalized, but couldn't get a dispensary. And it has gone through many iterations till the last time when we had to ban it completely because we weren't ready to do anything. And it might have faded away, but a general election is a great time to get answers from the community. It's the least expensive way. It's like $20,000 to put something on the ballot to have everybody vote on it. There's no other way except maybe telephone, and that's really expensive. And I don't know about you, but I never answer my landline. So this was wonderful. We could put it out to the residents, and I was told if it passes, okay, and if it doesn't, you're never to talk about it again. So I was very happy that it did pass. It passed. We got, the final vote was 6,651 yes, about 51%, and no's were 6426, so about 49. I remember when the Cannabis Club was busy, there would be more and more people. We had 400 to 800 members of that club. People were interested. And as seniors, why shouldn't we have every tool in the toolbox? There are so many exciting discoveries being made about MS and about epilepsy and about different conditions that cannabis can help. Even the type of cannabis that you just rub on, topical ointments and tinctures, can help us with THC or without THC, just the CBDs. And in 2016, when it was finally legalized statewide, we talked about it then, but we weren't able to bring it to a vote except to ban it right that minute. You talk about the mask issue. The reason more cities don't, I will get back to cannabis, but the reason most cities don't have mask mandates is the sheriff will not support it. I'm sorry to say. So what can you do? You can have a mask mandate, but no one will enforce it. So it fell to the businesses. Well, the same thing with cannabis. They had been telling us, no, there's going to be a lot of crime. There's going to be robberies. There's going to be this, and this. Well, since 2016, there have been dispensaries open all over the place. My cat wants fed. And I hope you can't hear her. And none of the problems have materialized. There haven't been major robberies, and there haven't been any of the things that were negatives that people were so afraid of. On the other hand, there have been no giant windfalls of tax money, but that's okay. It's an essential business here. And we are business friendly, and right now we need businesses. So I'm very happy that it passed, that we can have one more to look at. Also, we wanted to get rid of the black market in cannabis here in Southern California. And the problem with the black market is I happen to feel it's very important to have tested cannabis so that it's free of molds and all kinds of pesticides and things that could be in there that if you smoke it or ingest it in any way, it could really hurt you. So, and that's when it's coming from the black market, you don't know. So the more places that have a dispensary, the more likely the black market will disappear. So for all these reasons, for wanting a new business, for our residents who really wanted this, every month there were more people on the buses that went to the dispensaries to buy cannabis. And it's helping people. I know 6 people personally that have been able to put down their opioids or not fill these opioid prescriptions because of the help they're getting from cannabis, either just the CBD or their topical ointments. And that's wonderful because, I mean, opioids are great if you need them. I'm not saying anybody shouldn't use them, but they can be very hard on your body and have a lot of side effects that you may not want. Our city a few years ago was very high on the morbidity scale of people dying from opioids or opioids and alcohol together. I don't know why, whether it was accidental, not accidental, but I would like to encourage the use of CBDs and cannabis, whatever people are comfortable with, as an alternative in pain. Again, I think people deserve all the help that they can get. It makes you more social. You'll come out, you'll talk to your neighbor, you're more likely to eat. Your quality of life, which is so important for us. I mean, it's not how many years we live, it's the quality of those years and how we can interact with people and how we can interact with ourselves and how we can motivate ourselves to be more creative or to do a hobby right now when we're all, inside. Zoom is wonderful, but cannabis can unlock a little bit of creativity, I find personally. It's a very personal topic because every person reacts differently. So
Shari, we do have a couple questions. If we could squeeze them in. 2 questions.
Okay.
1, what is the plan going forward for cannabis? And 2, if there have been businesses in Laguna Woods that are not complying with the current COVID mandates and might be open, such as restaurants, et cetera, what is the city of Laguna Woods going to do about that?
Our restaurants in our city have been very compliant because we have gone around, all of us, Noel has, I have, all the rest of the council members, to talk to places like Stater Brothers and Mothers, because their corporate offices didn't want to enforce a mask mandate. But it's so important here. And so we were able to get them to put signs in the window, and they're very happy. They are being compliant with it because they do want our business, and that is important.
Shari, I'm sorry to interrupt, but apparently there is one restaurant that is continuing to serve outside. So.
Oh, outside?
Yes.
It just got the order to close. They're probably at a are you talking about 19?
No. Because I'm not going to mention it.
Okay,
I'm not going to mention the name, but we will let you know.
Okay. Because it's important that they do. And what was the other question? I'm sorry.
The other question is there a plan for cannabis,
yes,
for cannabis dispensary going forward?
Well, there's not a plan for it yet, but at least now we'll be able to talk about it and what we want to do and the metrics that we'll use as far as how far they have to be from schools, how far they have to be from businesses, who will be able to, all the questions that come up, but at least now we'll be talking about it. So it will probably take a while. Nothing happens quickly. Even building the library is taking a while, but at least it will be on the drawing board. And so I'm very happy to say that one day there will be a dispensary here in Laguna Woods. I'm almost positive of it. But I can't tell you exactly when right now.
Okay, thank you so much for that encouraging news, Shari. I'm sure a lot of people will be very happy to hear it. Once again, I would like to thank you for your good work on the City Council and for your good work for seniors throughout the state of California. I'd like to thank Ada and AJ for their work for the Democratic Party of Orange County and for all Democrats and everyone in Orange County, not just for Democrats. And I'd like to thank Pat Leftwich for running the Zoom meeting today. And please stay tuned on this, because we will have some videos of Katie Porter and Cotty Petrie Norris and Dave Min. And we thank you for tuning in to the Laguna Woods Democratic Club today. And we look forward to seeing you again on our Zoom meetings in the future, since it looks like we will be Zooming for the foreseeable future. And thanks for everything that you do, everyone in Laguna Woods, to stay safe and to support each other. Thank you. Bye.